The 3 pillars of Stoicism that will solve your problems. 1. Focus only on what you can control. The first pillar of Stoicism. Imagine waking up in the morning and before your feet even touch the floor, your mind is already racing. You think about bills that need to be paid, messages that haven't been answered, people who may not like you, mistakes from yesterday, and fears about tomorrow. Before the day has even begun, your peace has already been stolen. This is how millions of people live every day. Their minds are trapped by worries, expectations, and circumstances they cannot control. The Stoics recognized this problem over 2,000 years ago, and they discovered a solution that remains just as powerful today. Their answer was simple: focus only on what you can control. To understand this principle, imagine a young man named Daniel. Like many people, Daniel believed that happiness depended on everything going according to plan. He wanted people to respect him, opportunities to appear at the right time, and life to reward his hard work. Whenever something went wrong, he became frustrated. If someone criticized him, he spent days thinking about it. If he failed at something, he questioned his worth. If circumstances did not favor him, he became angry at the world. Daniel believed he was fighting life's problems, but in reality, he was fighting reality itself. One morning, Daniel applied for a promotion he had worked toward for years. He arrived early, stayed late, completed every assignment, and sacrificed much of his personal life to prove his value. Deep down, he had already convinced himself that the promotion belonged to him. He imagined the salary increase, the recognition, and the respect he would receive from others. For weeks he felt excited about his future. Then the decision arrived. The promotion went to someone else. Daniel was devastated. He could not stop thinking about it. He replayed every detail in his mind. He wondered why management had overlooked him. He questioned whether he was good enough. His frustration followed him home every evening. The disappointment affected his sleep, his mood, and his relationships. He spent more energy complaining about the decision than improving himself. One day, an older colleague noticed Daniel's frustration. Instead of offering sympathy, the man asked a simple question. "What exactly are you angry about?" Daniel immediately listed all the reasons he had been treated unfairly. He talked about management, office politics, and the decision that had gone against him. The older man listened carefully before saying something Daniel would never forget. "You are suffering because you're trying to control something that never belonged to you." Daniel was confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. The man replied, "Did you control how hard you worked?" "Yes." "Did you control your preparation, effort, and attitude?" "Yes." "Did you control the final decision?" Daniel paused. "No." The older man nodded. "Then why are you allowing your peace to depend on something that was never within your control?" Those words stayed with Daniel for days. For the first time, he began questioning the way he approached life. He realized that much of his suffering came from attaching his happiness to outcomes he could not guarantee. He had confused influence with control. While he could influence the decision through hard work, he could never control the final result. This lesson lies at the heart of Stoicism. According to the philosopher Epictetus, some things are within our control and some things are not. Our opinions, choices, actions, and responses belong to us. Other people's decisions, opinions, and external events do not. Most people understand this intellectually, but few truly live by it. Instead, they spend their lives worrying about matters beyond their authority. Think about how much anxiety comes from trying to control what others think. People carefully choose their words, their appearance, and their actions because they want approval. They fear criticism and rejection. Yet no matter how hard you try, you cannot fully control another person's opinion. Someone may misunderstand your intentions. Someone may dislike you without reason. Someone may criticize you despite your best efforts. If your happiness depends on universal approval, disappointment is inevitable. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. As Emperor of Rome, he held immense power, yet even he could not control what others thought of him. He faced criticism, betrayal, political opposition, and endless challenges. Instead of becoming consumed by these things, he reminded himself that another person's judgment could not damage his character unless he allowed it. His focus remained on his own actions rather than the opinions of others. Consider how often people ruin their present moments by worrying about the future. They imagine problems that have not happened and may never happen. Their minds create worst-case scenarios and replay them repeatedly. They suffer from events that exist only in imagination. The Stoics recognize that this habit wastes enormous amounts of energy. The future is uncertain. While preparation is useful, obsession is destructive. Imagine standing in a storm holding an umbrella. The rain represents life's uncertainties. Most people spend their time trying to stop the rain itself. They wish circumstances were different. They complain about conditions they cannot change. The Stoic takes a different approach. Instead of trying to stop the storm, they focus on holding the umbrella. They focus on their response. They understand that while they cannot control every event, they can control how they face it. As Daniel continued reflecting on the older colleague's advice, he began making changes. Whenever something upset him, he asked himself one question. Is this within my control? At first, the habit felt strange. Yet the results were remarkable. When coworkers gossiped, he stopped wasting energy trying to change their behavior. When unexpected problems appeared, he focused on solutions instead of complaints. When people disagreed with him, he accepted that agreement was not always necessary. Slowly, his stress began to decrease. The external world had not changed, but his relationship with it had. This is one of the most important truths in Stoicism. Peace does not come from controlling the world. Peace comes from controlling yourself. Most people spend their lives attempting the impossible task of managing everything around them. The Stoic focuses on mastering their own thoughts, choices, and actions. Months later, another promotion opportunity appeared. This time Daniel approached it differently. He worked hard, prepared thoroughly, and gave his best effort. But he refused to tie his happiness to the outcome. He understood that the result was not entirely his to determine. His responsibility ended with his effort. When the decision finally arrived, he received the promotion. Ironically, the achievement felt different than he expected. The greatest reward was not the new position. It was the mindset he had developed. Even if he had not received the promotion, he knew he would have remained at peace because he had learned where true power exists. Many people spend decades searching for happiness without realizing it is hidden behind a simple distinction. They focus on what they cannot control and neglect what they can. They worry about outcomes while ignoring actions. They obsess over circumstances while neglecting character. The first pillar of Stoicism teaches us to reverse this pattern. Focus on your effort rather than the result. Focus on your response rather than the event. Focus on your character rather than your reputation. Focus on your actions rather than other people's opinions. When you learn this lesson, something extraordinary happens. Life's challenges do not disappear, but they lose much of their power over you. Criticism hurts less. Failure becomes easier to endure. Uncertainty becomes less frightening. You stop being tossed around by every external event because your stability comes from within. The Stoics believe that true freedom belongs to the person who governs themselves. A person who controls their own mind cannot easily be controlled by circumstances. They remain calm in difficulty, steady in uncertainty, and strong in adversity. And that is why the first pillar of Stoicism is so powerful. The moment you stop fighting for control over things that never belong to you, you reclaim control over the one thing that always does, yourself. 2. Master your thoughts and emotions. The second pillar of Stoicism is mastering your inner world. Most people believe their emotions control them. They think anger simply happens. They think fear appears without warning. They think anxiety is something they must endure. Stoicism offers a different perspective. It teaches that our emotions are strongly influenced by our judgments and interpretations of events. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One sees the situation as a disaster and falls into despair. The other sees it as an opportunity to learn and grow. The event is identical, yet their experiences are completely different. Why? Because their interpretations are different. Stoics understood that between an event and our reaction lies a space where choice exists. In that space, we have the ability to examine our thoughts rather than blindly obey them. This skill becomes one of the most powerful forms of self-mastery. Many people spend their lives reacting automatically. Someone insults them, and they become angry. A problem appears, and they panic. A goal seems difficult, and they give up. Their emotions act like a puppet master controlling every decision. The Stoic seeks to reverse this relationship. Instead of being ruled by emotions, he learns to observe them calmly. This does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending they do not exist. Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. It is about developing wisdom. It is about recognizing emotions without allowing them to dominate your actions. Think of your mind as a fortress. Every day, negative thoughts attempt to enter. Some arrive as fear. Others arrive as doubt, jealousy, resentment, or insecurity. Most people open the gates without question. They accept every thought as truth. The Stoic stands guard at the entrance and asks, "Is this thought useful? Is it true? Does it deserve my attention?" When practiced consistently, this habit transforms your life. You become less reactive. You stop making decisions based solely on temporary emotions. You gain the ability to remain calm when others panic. You become steady when others become overwhelmed. One powerful Stoic exercise involves imagining challenges before they occur. Rather than fearing difficulties, Stoics mentally prepare for them. They consider obstacles and think about how they would respond. This practice reduces anxiety because the mind becomes familiar with adversity. Over time, emotional mastery creates extraordinary confidence. You begin to realize that no external event can truly destroy your peace unless you allow it. Circumstances may become difficult, but your inner strength remains intact. This understanding creates resilience that cannot easily be shaken. The second pillar teaches us that true power does not come from controlling the world around us. It comes from controlling the way we think about the world around us. 3. Live according to virtue. The third pillar of Stoicism is living according to virtue. While modern culture often measures success through wealth, status, popularity, and possessions, Stoicism defines success differently. The Stoics believe that the highest goal in life is developing excellent character. Virtue includes qualities such as wisdom, courage, discipline, honesty, justice, patience, and integrity. According to Stoic philosophy, these qualities create lasting happiness because they depend on us rather than external circumstances. Imagine achieving great wealth but lacking integrity. Imagine becoming famous but living with fear and insecurity. Imagine gaining power while sacrificing your principles. From a Stoic perspective, these outcomes are not true success. Real success occurs when your actions align with your values regardless of the circumstances. Living according to virtue requires courage because the easiest path is not always the right path. There will be moments when honesty is uncomfortable. There will be moments when discipline feels difficult. There will be moments when doing the right thing offers no immediate reward. Yet these moments are precisely where character is forged. Think of a blacksmith shaping steel. The metal becomes stronger through heat and pressure. Human character develops in a similar way. Challenges reveal who we truly are. Difficult situations provide opportunities to practice virtue. When someone treats you unfairly, you can practice patience. When fear appears, you can practice courage. When temptation arises, you can practice self-discipline. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth rather than a reason for complaint. The Stoics believed that external achievements are uncertain. Wealth can disappear. Reputation can change. Circumstances can shift overnight. Character, however, remains with you. It becomes the foundation upon which every other aspect of life is built. People often search endlessly for happiness in external things. They believe they will finally feel complete once they earn more money, gain more recognition, or achieve another milestone. Yet many discover that satisfaction remains temporary. Stoicism teaches that lasting fulfillment comes from becoming a better person rather than simply acquiring more things. A virtuous life also creates inner peace. When your actions align with your values, you experience less regret, less guilt, and less internal conflict. You know who you are and what you stand for. This clarity becomes a source of strength during uncertain times. The third pillar reminds us that while we cannot always choose our circumstances, we can always choose the kind of person we become. Conclusion. The 3 pillars of Stoicism are simple but transformative. First, focus only on what you can control. Second, master your thoughts and emotions. Third, live according to virtue. These principles have guided individuals through wars, personal hardships, financial struggles, failures, and uncertainty for thousands of years. They remain just as relevant today as they were in ancient times because human nature has not changed. We still face fear, frustration, disappointment, and adversity. We still search for meaning, strength, and peace. The good news is that you do not need perfect circumstances to begin practicing Stoicism. You can start today. You can choose to focus on your actions rather than your worries. You can choose to examine your thoughts rather than obey them automatically. You can choose to develop character even when challenges arise. Remember, a calm mind is not built in a single day. It is built through daily practice. Every moment presents an opportunity to strengthen your discipline, resilience, and wisdom. If you found value in this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Join our growing community dedicated to Stoicism, self-discipline, mental toughness, and personal growth. Your support helps us create more content that inspires people to build stronger minds, overcome challenges, and live with purpose. Thank you for watching, and remember, the strongest person is not the one who controls the world, but the one who has learned to control themselves.